My name is Cindy Spain, and I'm the sailor's wife. I go by that because my husband was 20-some years in the Navy on submarines. I could go by sailor's daughter, too, because my dad was also served his 20-plus years, and I could be a soldier's mom because my son served. Not very long, but he served. My entire family has been in the military one way or another, but I had the toughest job, which was the Navy wife. Which brings me to my first guest, who's one of my dearest friends. She's the type of friend that if I call her in the middle of the night and say I need help, and before I finish telling her why, she's already got her shoes on and moving out the door. So Kathleen and I met a million years ago in Georgia on a bowling league. We've traveled together to Oregon and lived in Oregon for 20 years, and then 24 years for me, and then we moved here 5 years ago. So we've got quite the connection. So Kathleen, would you like to tell how we met?
Oh, well, do I have to? But
no,
yes,
you don't.
First, let me say, I'm so happy that you're doing this, Cindy.
Oh.
You're getting your voice out there and being heard.
Yeah,
because Lord knows, for 30 some odd years, I've been really the only one that's heard you. And my ears are getting a little starting to bleed. Well, we met, like Cindy said, in a bowling league where most of us submariners' wife bowled on a Tuesday morning up in St. Mary's, Georgia. We got together. We would write our stupid little familygrams because that was the only way we could communicate with our men.
Well, that was later.
Well, but we did it before I met you. Yeah. We were always doing it. And this one day, I don't know, I was on lanes, we'll say 5 and 6, and Cindy was down at the other end of the bowling center with
my sister.
With your sister, Teresa, on lanes, I don't know, 21 or 22. And I bowled a 299. And I left a dang 4-pin in the last frame. That cost me $300. But anyway, the side of my eyes, I see coming across the approaches Cindy and her sister Teresa going, oh, we've never seen anybody throw such a great game. 299. Oh my God, it was almost perfect. But all I could see was boobs.
Well, I gave her a big hug.
Because Cindy is pretty well endowed and her sister Teresa is just as well. And so I had
a sea of
Teresa
boobs
on one side, Cindy on the other side, and I was surrounded by boobs. If I had been a man, I'd have been in heaven.
She still was.
We have been friends for, 30 some odd years now.
Watched our kids grow up. Your daughter was a little bitch. I mean, she was a spoiled brat, but I love her like my own now.
She was.
Our kids are best friends. And
well, your son was my daughter's bridesmaid in her wedding. I'm very proud of it. And they still talk every day or every couple of days.
Yeah, they talk often, even though she's in Arizona.
Yeah. No, she's in Colorado
now. But yeah, we've been good friends, and we are both staunch conservative women.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know exactly what point. I mean, my parents were always Republicans, but I don't know what point exactly I really started paying attention to politics. I think it was when Ross Perot ran. But
well, you are much older than I.
I am not. And as time went on, then Clinton got elected, and I really started paying attention then because he was shutting down all the military bases, and that affected me and my peoples.
Well,
and I didn't like that, so I started listening and paying closer attention to things. And
I started paying attention more during the Carter administration, even though I wasn't old enough to vote.
I remember when he was elected.
I saw what was going on with inflation. My mother was a manager at the Tenneco station on A1A in Cape Canaveral.
Yep.
And we went from, I think it was $29.9 a gallon of gas, and overnight it went to like $89.9 a gallon of gas. And back then was expensive.
I remember gas was at 20-some cents a gallon.
Right. My dad was a truck driver. Diesel started going up, and so you started paying more attention. So my first election was Reagan. And so I voted for Reagan. I mean, anybody in their right mind would have voted for Reagan. No offense to Jimmy Carter, may he rest in peace. He was a great man, but not a good president.
Yeah,
Just,
remember.
he was a great man. I think he just got eaten up by the D.C. politics. I just don't think he was.
He probably shouldn't have been a Democrat.
Yeah, he shouldn't have been. And I was raised by Democrats. My mother and father worked on JFK's campaign, Robert Kennedy's
He is
campaign.
not the same kind of Democrat as today.
Not today.
He is not. No.
But Reagan was my first. And then as we moved around, I didn't really pay much attention to local politics until I actually got here.
This is my first.
Yeah. But
Paying
I remember
attention to the politics here. Oh my goodness.
the conservative group in Oregon, man, that was dangerous.
Well, yes, and that's the other thing I need to bring up is I do run a conservative women's group. When I moved here, the only one I knew was Kathleen, and she drove me crazy. So I needed to reach out and make more friends, and I did. I posted it on Palm Coast Facebook group, and I instantly got 10 hits. Like, oh my goodness, So some of them
she
are
got
still
20,
in the group.
but I hit her 10 times.
Yeah. But some of them are still in the group. But, we've grown and we've ebbed and flowed, but we're all conservative women. We meet weekly for lunch. Sometimes we do dinner when we can bring the husbands if they can behave. But
we let them out.
Yeah, we have to let them out sometimes.
Pull off the duct tape.
Amazing group of women. They really are an amazing group of women. I've made some really good friends in this group, and like she said, I had the group in Oregon.
That was dangerous, though.
But I had to screen everybody. Yes, I forgot to mention we both moved here from Oregon. We're refugees.
Yes, we are.
Yes, but I had to screen everybody that tried to join because they just.
The thing about Oregon was when we moved up there. I don't even remember what year we moved up there, but we're here 6 years now. So we moved, I think, in 97.
Yeah, I think we were the end.
We watched a quaint little city, Portland, turn into just a disgusting mess of human feces and drug addicts, and it was horrible to watch what they did to it. And it was time to get back home to sanity, which Florida's always been home. So
Chuck says, I've got 5 years, I'm retiring. You better figure out where you want to move to. And it took me 5 years to figure out where I want to move to. And my family and friends are going, aren't you ready to come back here yet? And I'm like, yeah.
Well, there was never any doubt for Tim and I, even when we moved to Oregon after even the 20 years before, we were always coming back home to Florida. Tim's a Floridian.
Down to 3.
We were always coming back home.
Goose Creek, South Carolina, Charleston area.
Yeah.
I love that area too.
I just didn't know where in Florida we were coming to.
Well, I knew pretty much this was my first pick because Chuck's old CO's wife and husband had a home here, and I came to visit one time, and I'm like, wow, this place is really nice.
Well, we had looked at property before Tim went to Charleston, before he was on the John C. Calhoun. The city was just starting, and we looked at property. But, I mean, come on, he was a first class in the military. We didn't get paid a whole lot. We really couldn't afford property taxes on something until we retired. So we passed at the time. Now, looking back, I probably should have just,
I wish we'd have bought the lot next to our house we have now, but hindsight's 20/20.
But Palm Coast was always something that we looked at, but...
No, we knew.
I knew it wouldn't be Orlando.
I knew it was going to be, because it's perfect, because it's an hour from my mom and my sister. It's 8 miles, or actually 8 minutes to the beach, which I hardly ever go because now we have all the snowbirds and they take up all the parking spots, which we have very few of. But it's a great city here.
We had looked on Merritt Island and Cocoa Beach, where I grew up, and we looked over.
You were going to move to Jack's. That's your first choice.
Well, we moved to Valrico when we first moved from Oregon because that's where Tim grew up. And then there was that problem with the VA. Not that it was a problem. There was that issue with the guy's insurance, and Palm Coast fit right into the middle of all of that. My brother was in Jacksonville. My brother was up in Mayport. My mother-in-law lives in Claremont, so she's a little over an hour. My parents are buried in Rockledge. So Palm Coast was central for the same reason. So we settled on Palm Coast.
I can't get away from her, people.
Wait, I got here first.
I
Excuse
planned
me.
here first. I planned here first.
Excuse me.
She decided to come after
we
we
sat at the
planned it.
bowling center and planned it together. The guys.
She wanted me to get a lot next to her house. I'm like, oh,
I
hell
told
no.
you
We're
that.
as far south as we can
Yeah,
be.
I told you, come up by me, coffee every morning, but no.
Yeah, I
you
kind of
gotta
do wish
go
you were
down.
closer to have coffee in the mornings,
Have to be. You just can't be right next to me. Can't do what I tell you to do.
No.
Mm-mm.
You
Gotta
know,
fight with me.
No, yeah, I do.
And even though I should respect my elders,
Oh, please.
Oh,
please. I'm not that much older than you.
much.
Oh, I'm not. But
And our
anyway,
guys-
we've been friends for a long
our
time,
guys
as you
get
can
along.
tell.
That's
She
the best
wanted to
part.
do a little podcast instead of Diamond and Silk. She wanted to call us Flannel and Coal.
Come on, flannel and coal would have been fantastic.
Ugh, no.
I would have been flannel because
That's what you
you
wear.
could be coal. It
No,
would have
I'd
worked.
have to
I'm
been
telling
Diamond.
you. We could have met Trump.
We'd have been taking their...
We
that
could have met Trump.
couple
I'm
of
telling
women.
you, but no,
Oh,
you
that
don't
would have
listen
been
to me.
awesome, no.
Don't listen to me. I'm telling
I
you.
should get Susie's Trump and bring it in here.
Okay.
Maybe I'll do
We
that.
could have
But
Trump.
anyway, the purpose of my podcast is because I do have some really great women. Most all are from everywhere else, and they have great stories. And they all have different stories, and they have these different backgrounds. And a friend helped talk me into it. She goes, "You really should do that because you know so many people here, and they have such good stories." And
Cindy, you knew everybody in St. Mary's.
well,
You couldn't go to the bathroom at a restaurant without somebody looking under the stall going, Cindy, is that you?
yeah.
I knew that was you. I could tell by your feet.
Yeah, well, I knew a lot of people in Georgia.
So,
I didn't know as many in Oregon, but Georgia, I knew a
no,
lot.
Oregon, you had
Well,
to
I
keep
had
to
both
ourselves.
sisters stationed there,
Yeah.
and their Navy husbands, and I volunteered for the Red Cross, and I knew their neighbors and friends, and I just...
You
and
knew
I was
everybody in
ombudsman.
St. Mary's.
I was ombudsman on 2 different submarines, and
Going to a street festival with you in St. Mary's was a lot like walking down the road with Angelina Jolie.
oh, shut up.
Everybody
whatever.
knew you.
But wouldn't that be awesome? Palm Coast needs to do that.
What?
Street festivals
Oh.
like we used to have in Georgia.
Oh, Georgia did. If it ends in Y or if it swims in the ocean, we're going to have a festival
Well,
for
we
it.
had
It doesn't matter.
crawfish, and we had I don't remember.
Crawfish, clayfish,
Shrimp.
gator,
I
everything.
don't
It
know,
didn't
but we
matter.
had- but they had great bands.
They did.
They had booked
We had
these
good
bands
times.
in early years, and they'd block off the whole city.
Yeah, but that was before
middle,
the paper mill closed. That was before the paper mill closed.
Yeah,
They
well,
had
a
more
lot of things
people.
changed.
A lot of things have changed up there. It's not the same.
Yeah, it's not the same anymore.
Even
either.
I think the bowling center
Oh.
has closed.
But that's what I want to do. Is every week I'm going to have a different person in and let them tell their story and
Yeah.
see what kind of people are living in this city. And I might even throw a liberal in there sometime. I still want to get.
Do you know
Keita.
any liberals?
Yeah, I still want to get Keita on here.
Mm.
I love her. She's like a daughter, but she is liberal. But that's
Well,
okay.
I like Keita. She's very
she's-
intelligent, very
too smart
very
for me. I
good
can't- so I
woman,
won't
good mother.
Yes, she is.
But you
amazing.
probably shouldn't talk politics.
Oh, she'd outsmart me. I can't do that.
So she's
But,
a nice woman.
Yeah.
But,
But anyway, I want to have the stories come on, and I want to tell them. And it's your phone. You
that's
can't
my
go
phone.
anywhere
I don't know who it
without your
is. That's
phone.
fine. That they'll. My husband knows where I'm at.
It's Charmaine.
That's all that matters.
But she can't leave her house for 5 minutes.
My
without
kids
her
love me.
phone
What can I
ringing.
tell you?
Oh my goodness, it's so.
And
sick.
Charmaine knows where I'm at, so that's kind of worrying.
Oh, she's fine.
Oh,
Don't answer it.
I'm not answering it.
yeah.
Did you see me get up? Besides, it would drive our person with the headphones crazy if I
So,
got up and
Alan,
moved
what do
to
you
the
think? Is there anything that you can think of you want to ask her?
That I want to ask? I think this is a great idea that the two of you have, or you had, but I'm looking forward also to I hope are you going to have somebody in and the two of you can interview? Because we can have a third person.
Well, we could do that, but
Telling you.
I've already got somebody booked for the next time.
Flannel and Cole.
It's my friend from in the group. She's from. She was a backup singer for Nashville.
Oh yeah, she's got
Oh.
she's got
She's-
really great stories
Yeah, she does
that
a
she
lot
can
of
tell.
special
I can't
people.
tell stories. So
Me neither. I know all your
I'll
stories.
get arrested.
That was the fun part we used to have. We could only do 40-word familygrams when the guys were out to sea. That's the only communication that they had from us, and we got 0 from them. They probably have email now, but
I think they do, actually.
So you get tired of saying the kids are good, the house is good, I miss you, I love you, blah, blah, blah. So we started making up our own poems. And she kind of started that little thing. And the thing is, when they're sent out, they're sent by radio to the entire fleet.
Yep.
The guys always, so each sub has their familygram of the week. And they post it up. Like I sent one that said roses are red, violets are blue. If I had a sea bag, I'd send these kids to you. And that one was okay. She had some raunchy ones.
Here's to your little thing and my little thing and everything under the table. May your little thing never want anything as long as my thing is able.
Yeah. When I found out I was pregnant, fortunately, I wrote in the comments that
because you can't send that information out.
You can't send, hey, Candy's pregnant.
Yeah,
Candy could be your pet dog.
Yeah, you can't send
that. But it could
stuff.
flip out a guy if, thinking it's his 13-year-old daughter or something. They
sure.
don't know what they're sending to these guys. So they bleep out a lot of things, and Chuck will say, what did you say here? It's all bleeped out. But
Tim only got one that was bleeped out. And I'm very proud to say
about
that.
The redhead?
No, that was about Willie the One-Eyed Wonder Worm.
Oh, yeah.
And then there was... I sent one from one of the single guys on one of the other boats that we bowled with. He never got anything. His parents never sent anything. He was single. So I took his familygrams and started writing them from his bowling ball. That one I had to explain because, why did you stick me in this dark locker? I miss you. It's so hot in here. And I actually got a phone call from each submarine has 2 crews. So
the boomers do, which our husbands run.
And so the executive officer from the off crew on this man's submarine called me because she had to put a phone number, and he said, "Can you please explain this?" I said, "Yeah, everything I'm sending him for the next 9 weeks are from his bowling ball." Oh, he said, "That's fantastic. Okay, fine, not a problem. I'll tell the radio man."
Yeah.
And so
because it goes to the XO, and then they. Whatever they do.
They send it down the chain of command to the radio.
And then it goes out to the fleet, and they pick it up. And like I said, every sub would have their familygram of the week or whatever.
Then we do halfway night,
halfway
parties,
nights were always good.
And send out little gifts for the guys to open. One time we took these biggest possible bras that you could find, and we stuffed them with candies and things, and then we put over some felt or whatever so they closed it, and we would send them out on a mail drop, and the guys would get this as a gift. Or actually they went out ahead of time.
You always had to pack their halfway box ahead of time,
and they'd be there, and they would get them on their halfway night while they were celebrating halfway through the patrol. We would be home doing either a picnic with the kids or go out to lunch or dinner or whatever.
We partied.
We used to
go out to
dinners
ladies'
with
night.
We used to do dinners with the kids, and then we would have just a ladies' night.
We always did the ladies'
at the Japanese restaurant in St. Mary's.
Sometimes we had to have
that was
help
right
coming
next to
home.
the Food Lion. That Japanese restaurant in St. Mary's. They
that
had
was
some
where
really
Chuck's
good
retirement
food.
Was. Yeah,
we would go out
was a
there,
great
and
place.
but that
But
was
we had,
interesting life.
Submarine life. First off, the submarine community is small. It's a small piece of the Navy. So every time we transferred, we knew somebody because there was only so many places you could put a submarine. And
at least the submarines our guys were on.
Yeah, the kind our guys were on. And you have to make the best of it. You had to because
that's
you would
why
go crazy. And
I would go to the bowling
friends,
alley.
Lifetime friends you would make in the military. I still have friends that go back eons that I've known for 100 years from being a military wife, and it is the toughest job in the Navy. Don't let anybody kid you. Raising kids and doing everything while they're out to sea, and you can't communicate, you can't hear from them. Now I think it's a lot different.
I believe the submarines get some sort of email at a certain point.
Right, they can surface and get it downloaded.
But not often. So I would think that familygrams might still be a thing. I'm not sure.
I don't know. But I was very proud of what my husband did. It's a very important job. And I was very proud to be a Navy wife.
Yeah.
But it wasn't always easy. It was always, there was one time I ran over Chucky. That wasn't good.
Don't blame that on being a Navy wife.
Oh, that was just being a stupid wife. That was the day before the guys were coming home. Boy, was that a mess. I'll tell that in another story. But
No,
we did.
it
We always
was-
had some good times.
People
but-
think of the Navy and they think of, destroyers and battleships. They don't think that for every destroyer, battleship, and aircraft carrier that's out there, there's a submarine somewhere that's
Near
attached to them.
Absolutely. Well, the fast boats are
So
usually
the fast
with
boats
the
are with
surface
the
ships.
right.
The boomers,
The
which our
boomers could
husbands
be.
were, they would go out in the ocean
Yeah.
and nobody knew where they were.
Nope. I don't even think the president knows where they are.
I mean, they had more firepower. They still do
Yep.
on one submarine than all World War One and
Yep.
Two. I don't think people realize that.
It's
And
it was a very stressful,
it could be stressful.
very interesting life,
It was.
and not everybody handled it. And I am very proud of my husband. I'm actually very
Mine too.
and I don't say this very often, but I am actually going to pat myself on the back because
Oh, me
it was
too.
a very difficult job. And
It
then
was.
them readjusting to coming home and having to fit into the family role that they didn't know for 3 months.
Oh,
It was never easy for them.
for us,
so
it was the honeymoon.
so.
Every time they
I
come
don't wanna
home,
hear
we
about your
always had a
sex.
2-week.
I want to hear about your sex
not gonna
life,
hear about
Penny.
my sex life.
Please keep
But
it
it was
to
the
yourself.
whole honeymoon feeling. It was like Chuck was always one of the first guys out.
I know, Tim was always
captain
one of the
submarine
last.
because he was an electrician, and he was the last to come home. But I can remember wearing dresses and going down the hatch, and Chuck closed my dress because the draft would catch us going up, and guys were going, "Oh, look at this!" in his
No,
bag."
I went on once. I went on the submarine once. That was all I needed.
Oh no, I used to
I
go
was
down
there
every
for
time.
about 10 minutes. I told Tim to get me the F off of this canteen,
Yeah.
and I ran up, and he brought me up
To
through
me,
the
they
stair.
were
Oh, no.
huge. I mean, they're actually much
Could
bigger
not
than
take
you
it.
think.
I
They're 3 stories tall, and
There were no windows. I couldn't see. It was time for me to get the hell out of there.
Our husbands were not on the same submarines.
No, they
My
weren't.
husband was on the big boy submarines.
Tim was on a big boy submarine too. As a matter of fact, my husband was on the very first big boy submarine. The USS Ohio was his
Yeah.
very first duty station now on submarines.
My husband was on a fast boat to start
So
with.
after he left the Range Sentinel
But
in Cape Canaveral, where I
I
met
used to
him.
always go down and
No,
sit in the goat
you know,
locker, which is
you
where the
really
sheets
need
are.
to check how you say things, Cindy.
Oh yeah, whatever. You've got to get your mind out of the gutter, Kathleen.
I'm a Navy wife. I'm a
No,
Marine
and
daughter.
You get it from your husband.
I'm a
oh
truck,
my God.
Oh, come on, you knew my mother.
Oh yeah, I knew. I loved her too.
Truck driver's wife.
Yeah,
Marine
it's
Corps
sailor's
wife. Yeah,
sailor's daughter.
please.
But there you go.
You know.
But I'm pure and sweet, so
Oh, sure.
I
Okay.
tell my mother. I remind my mother all the time. I don't know why she laughs at me. I was an angel. Was a
Was that lightning I just heard getting ready to strike?
stop.
That you're pure and sweet.
Oh, whatever. Anyway, that's what we're going to do. That's what the sailor's wife is about. Well, that, and I also have crafts that I make shadow boxes, and I make beautiful cards that are forever cards, which I might bring in one day and show. But there's a lot of women in the group that have crafts that they do, and I've got there's just such a variety. I'm going to let some of the gals come on and talk about their businesses that they have and that they do to, support themselves and just talk, which I've never been afraid to do. I know.
No, you've never been afraid to talk to
But- and neither do
anybody.
you. You can talk glass-eye blind.
Yeah, sometimes.
Oh yeah, whatever.
Sometimes. I'm okay sitting at home, just playing my little clickbait games.
Yeah, you're at home all the time.
Well, no, I bowl twice a week. Thank you very much.
I am so busy. I don't know. My husband's like, I'm never home. You're always going out. Well, he doesn't want to go. He
Okay.
wants to catch up on every movie he missed in 40
Well,
years.
Tim
on
did that
submarines.
too. The first thing he did when he retired is watch every episode of the X-Files.
Oh.
Now he's watching
Chuck's
some
been-
space thing that had to have been made in 1940s.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my God, can we please? So I just put my headphones on and watch something else on my computer.
Well, we do love them. We've been married almost, 49 years this year.
It'll be 44 for us in May.
So we got the big 50 coming, and I still have him, and I still love
I
him.
told
Although
you.
I do want to strangle him on occasion.
50.
We do. We get
So
together.
where are we
and,
going for your 50th anniversary?
I don't know. We're having a party or something.
Well, let's do something.
My sister said she'd help plan it. I said, get with Kathleen and everything. I ain't planning it.
We
but
surprised the
my
hell out of
son-
you for your birthday. What was that, your 60th birthday?
60th. Well, they got me here for my 65th.
Yeah, I know. I
But
was
I
involved
got
in that.
you for your 60th. No,
No.
50th.
50th with
Yeah,
my
when
daughter.
I hid your daughter.
Yeah,
Huh,
you're still
that
my
was-
daughter, you bitch.
I know.
God.
Well, I am her other mother.
You are. You are.
Probably her favorite one, but there you go.
Well, I don't know. She calls me every day, so I don't know.
Well, she just gets in line. Everybody calls you every day. Your kids are constantly calling you.
My kids do call
But my
me.
son does tend to call me in the mornings and say, "What's up, Mom? What's
Or just
going on
shows
today?"
up and what's
But
for
he's
dinner,
looking
Mom?
for food.
I'm
Yeah.
hungry. What's for
Yeah,
dinner?
He's looking for food.
At least he doesn't bring his dirty clothes over.
No, God, no. There, I draw the line. But yeah, and if you have any other suggestions about things that would be good for this group, you're always welcome to chime in. And
I think that you should bring in some of the craft work. In fact, any of the stuff that the other ladies do,
absolutely, I'll
bring
tell
it in.
them.
So at the end of the show, you have like a show and tell of what
Absolutely.
everybody. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, because they work hard and they make these things. I've got one I know. I'm going to try to get her on. She does amazing embroidery. It just, if you're looking for anybody that does embroidery, she is it. She does it all. And I got one girl that's she has her own business doing HIPAA stuff. And I'd like to have her on and explain things. And
Yeah, she gets technical.
she gets technical, and that's when I kind of
Yeah.
zone out a little bit.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
Gray matter starts oozing out the
But maybe
ears.
people can hear that may be interested in
Yeah.
what she does, because it's very important now with all the HIPAA laws and
Yeah.
everything. They change constantly, and she keeps up with them, and she takes care of these doctors.
Well, and to know that it's okay to question your doctor or question your insurance company or question the hospital or question whatever. People are still afraid to do that.
Well,
So,
well, there you go.
but
But I don't know. I really do think that the women on the group are amazing and would be really good to have come talk on the show every week.
Yeah, I agree. I've met many of them, and I agree with you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
pretty
I think it'll be fun.
fantastic.
Yeah,
Are we about wrapping this up?
you've got about 2 minutes.
Okay.
so
well,
how are you going to wrap it up?
Thank you for listening. I hope I don't sound like a dork on here, but thank you for listening, because I do want to get the stories of these women out, and I will come on every week or two and have a new one on. And I may have Kathleen back, or maybe have her come join us with somebody else, or maybe 3 of us. So, oh gosh, the chatter. Goodness, can you
I
imagine?
can't imagine.
Yeah.
Get the bleeping. Get the
Please
bleeping
listen
ready.
to me. Come listen to our show. You might hear some funny stuff.
Okay, something's going on.
And you might hear some sad stuff. I have sad stories and people with sad stories that I intend to bring on also. And thank you for listening. This is Cindy Spain, the Sailor's Wife.
In The Sailor's Wife,